Hello, this is Takamasak, and apparently the game wants to do the intro for me. Well, that saves me tons of work. Let's see what's going on here. I don't know. Sounds like the elements are all out of whack or something. Oh, but, well, there's a prophecy that says warriors will come, so you know what that means. Yes, there will be much death. And there will be much rejoicing. In Let's Play Final Fantasy! Alright, we're going to go down here, start a new game. And if you hit left or right on the D-pad, it'll control the respawn rate from 1 to 8. 1 being slowest, 8 being, holy crap, what the hell did that say? I recommend 6, or maybe even 5 if 6 is a little too fast. You can always come back and change this. I'm going to set it to 7. I'm pretty much going to be explaining what's going to do good damage and everything like that throughout the game. So I suppose you could just take my word for it, but if you really want to see it, you can always come back and set it lower, and even if you want to get through it faster, you can set it to 8. And what this does is it basically controls how quickly the battles progress, so that'll make more sense once we get to our first battle. And by the way, this will be mostly a tutorial type video. I'm probably not going to get too far into the actual gameplay, so if you already pretty much know what's going on in this game, feel free to skip to video 2. Alright, we got our 6 classes here. We have 4 that we can see and 2 that we cannot at the moment. We start off with the fighter class. They are your, just pretty much like they say. Usually when I hear fighter, I think of, just hand-to-hand combat, no weapons or anything, but these guys are your high HP, high defense, high attack. They can equip all the weapons and armor. Well, almost all the weapons and armor. Anything useful they can equip. So these guys are pretty much your tank, the guys that'll be taking most of the hits and taking most of the damage. These guys don't get any magic initially, which I don't really mind because he's so strong in the first place. And they're a little pricey to begin with. Most of the classes we're going to look at, if they are expensive, it becomes less and less of an issue as the game progresses. The most you'll be spending the most you have trouble with is early in the game, so it's not really that big of a deal once you get through it. Let's move on to any direction you push will cycle through the characters, so I just hit right and it moved down to Thief. Thieves are probably the least favorite of the Final Fantasy classes from, well, at least everything I've read. I really don't mind them. I mean, I understand all the hatred for them. I mean, they don't really have great HP, not really great defense, and attack, I would say, is maybe poor to medium to begin with, but they get really good later on. It's just mostly, sucking it up and dealing with them through half the game. They get magic later, which is mostly for support, and that does really help out later if we decide not to get another class, which I'll talk about momentarily. These guys are relatively cheap to start off with. There's not really a whole lot they can equip. I don't remember. I'm probably going to end up taking one, just, I don't know, it adds a little spice, just to have a crappy guy, and they're pretty fun later. I mean, I guess really the only thing they are good at is running with their, agility stats, so that's really about it, and even that's bugged, and I'm really not going to be running much in the first place, but yeah, these guys are frustrating for a while, but I kind of believe they're worth it. I mean, well, you'll see later on in the LP. Alright, moving on, let's take a look at the Black Belt. These guys are more of your, what I would consider like your monk or your fighter class. These guys have high HP, and their defense works a little bit differently with everything else. Usually you want to leave them unequipped, which makes them extremely cheap throughout the game. So if you ever have money problems, I guess you could use a lot of these guys. They don't really get any magic, which is fine, because just like the fighter, they dish out a lot of physical damage. And they actually gain damage a little bit differently, which I'll describe more as the game progresses also. These guys get really high attack power, especially later in the game. There's a few weapons and armor we can equip. Usually if you actually equip things on these guys, it makes them worse. But yeah, they're really not as bad as I make them out to be. They are a little bit bugged with the armor thing, but that's very easy to get around also. So let's take a look at the next guy. Alright, we have the Red Mage. He is basically your okay at everything character. He's got average HP, he can equip some decent weapons and armor. At the start of the game, he's actually a pretty good fighter, but then as the game progresses, he kind of gets more of a supportive role. Or at least the way I've played it, he always did. There are two groups of magic. There's black magic and white magic. He can equip a few essentials from each one, and there's a few critical things which really help that he can't learn, but enough to where I feel justified in using him. He can equip a lot of decent equipment, and just like the fighter, he can actually become somewhat expensive early in the game, especially when you want to buy him spells. So, yeah, he's really not that bad. I'm probably going to bring him along, but I'll form my party after I give you all the descriptions. And here we have the White Mage, just what you would think as a normal mage class: low HP, low defense, extremely poor physical attack power. She doesn't do really a whole lot offensively on her own, except she is extremely good at handling undead, which is actually pretty crucial. As you will see throughout the LP, undead monsters are extremely annoying. You don't have to take her, but I would recommend it if you're actually new. I don't really care for the low HP. There's just certain areas where I need characters with higher HP. Let's see, what else? I thought there was something else I was going to say. She's more of your buffer and healer, so we'll get items later in the game which will actually be more beneficial to help her attack. But, yeah, let's just move on to the next one. Oh, and they can be fairly expensive, this mage and the next black mage, because spells, as they increase in level, they get more and more and more expensive, which can really add up, especially if you have two magi in your party. Yeah, she can equip all the white magics too. Kind of unlike the red mage can only equip certain white magics, she has no limitations except for what I'll describe in the game. And the black mage is pretty much the white mage, except for more of an attacking and not so much of a support role, but has a few buffer skills that are extremely helpful for your fighters. And the same problem with the spells come in if you have especially more than one mage. It does get pricey quickly. The good thing about the black mage is you get like your mob killing skills, multiple targeting spells that will just dish out a lot of damage. But the only thing with the black mage that I have found as I've played through this game a couple times with the black mage, he kind of loses his effectiveness as the game goes on. Like, I rely less and less on his actual skills, like the high-level black magics that he can learn. So I don't really mind taking him, but I'm just not going to in this LP. Feel free to use whoever you want. You don't have to use the party I'm going to select. I'm just going to select the starting party because I personally actually never used this setup. Probably played through the game maybe 8 times or so, but I figured I might as well try the setup they give you. Alright, I'm going to start off with the fighter in the first spot here. This is always the most annoying part, is naming these schmucks. We'll name him Thew. Yeah, that's perfect. Alright, I'm going to put the red mage in this. Where we go. Yeah, let's name the red mage. How about Orald? L-D. Fantastic. Alright, I'm also going to bring along the black belt. What do I now name this schmuck? I have to name 4 people! And who else was I going to bring? I was going to bring along the crappy thief that nobody likes. And yeah, once again, feel free to use your own party. I'm going to make recommendations for the characters that I'm not using, in this case the white mage and the black mage. So I'll at least be giving you some kind of description of what you could be doing. I'll try to remember to help give pointers in battles and stuff like that too. So I'm going to take the thief, and if you really wanted to, you could actually take like 2 fighters or 2 red mage. You don't have to select one of each type of class. It's not like they're excluded from being there after you select the first one. So, and yeah, I'm going to go ahead with the thief. So we'll name him, let's go with War. Yes, his name is War. He's from the South Persian islands of the Apocalypse. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's get on with... That threw me outside. Alright, before the game begins, I'll just... Yeah, I only have a couple minutes here, so I might as well go over a couple things. If you hit select, you can rearrange your parties, and... Yeah, rearrange your party in that screen. And in here we have your item commands. When we get items, they'll be in there. And we only have one person that can learn magic. As you can see, the magic under the red mage there, 20000. It just goes from left to left. Sorry, left to right. That will be level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, all the way up to level 8. So the red mage starts off with 2 level 1 magic charges, and the rest of the characters can't use magic. So, and once we get weapons, we're going to come up in here, and you can just equip them. You'll have to remember, just like any other RPG, that you need to come in and equip everything. So we'll buy stuff in the next episode, and you'll see how that works. If you ever hear this message when you're trying to equip something, that just means they can't equip it. So, and the armor is pretty much the same thing as the weapon. So, all right, let's take a look at the status. It tells you your experience points to level up. There's not really a whole lot in here I really care about. I don't really pay much attention to most of that crap on the left. More so the stuff on the right. The damage, hit percentage, absorb, and evade percentage. Your damage is basically what it says, basically how much damage you're going to be doing. But the most critical thing is probably your hit percentage. Every time that gets up to 32, you're going to be doing an additional hit, which will make sense once we see the battle. So that's very important if you have, say, a weapon that gets your hit percentage up to 32, but it decreases your damage a little bit. That's fine. You're going to want that. So moving on, absorb is pretty much your defense. I'm not sure why they called it your absorb. And yeah, there you have it there. And the evade percentage is basically your dodge. I don't really think it's 53 like it says with him. But all right, the black belt is the only one that works a little bit differently. Yeah, as you can see, that's pretty bad. The absorb is set to his level after every level up, so that's not bad. It's actually pretty poor to start off with, but as he gets higher and higher leveled, he gets much stronger and much more durable, so that's really helpful. His hit percentage works a little bit differently. I believe he gets an extra hit at every 10 levels, so regardless of what your hit percentage is, he still gets an additional hit after each 32%. So he'll get far more hits than the rest of the classes. So, well, there you have that. That's just a brief overview. I really don't care about the rest of the stats. I don't pay much attention to them at all. Intelligence is what was supposed to determine magic damage, but that is bugged, so don't pay any attention to that. Agility is supposed to be how well you run from battles, but that's also bugged. It has something to do with whoever's down lower in the party or something strange like that. Yeah, it's all just real crap, and I don't really care to even... almost don't even care to know what it does, but... Alright, let's go hop into town. I guess I have a minute here. Alright, first town. Oh, apparently this is the town of Coneria. Well, I might as well just talk about the buildings. Here we have the inn. As you can see, everything is pretty clearly labeled. That's where you rest and save up, recover your HP and MP. And you have the building with the sword on it. Obviously, your... Will you get out of the way? Obviously, your weapon shop. Shield is your armor shop. You have the dark circle over there, which is your black magic shop. And your white magic shop. So it's pretty straightforward there. The building with the heart will be if you lose any characters, as they die, you can come in here and revive them for a fee. And in here we have the item shop, which will help immensely throughout the game. But we'll take a look at all this next time as we get started on Let's Play Final Fantasy. This is Takamasak. I will see you later.